Hi, thank you for joining us on Goodwin Conversations. I'm Goodwin's chair, Anthony McCusker. Today I'm in our beautiful London office speaking with Sarah Jordan. Sarah is a partner in our Antitrust and Competition practice. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Looking forward to talking. So I understand that early in your career you spent some time in Belgium as an intern at the European Commission and then later as an attorney with your prior firm in Belgium as well. Can you talk a little bit about how that helped shape the future of your practice?
So I think at its core, it really made me an antitrust lawyer. That's the short answer. The long answer is that, just to explain, Brussels, Belgium is where the European Commission sits. And so as a budding antitrust lawyer, there was nowhere else to be and start my career. Spending that time within the European Commission before I actually then came back to London to qualify really gave me that insight into what it's like to work at an authority, to really understand the decisions that drive policy within the organization.
And so you're what they would refer to as dual qualified, right?
Yes, that's right.
What are the benefits to being dual qualified both in the EU and in England and Wales?
What it means is that I can work on cases before the UK agency, the Competition and Markets Authority, but it also means, particularly now post-Brexit, since the UK left the EU in 2020, I'm still continuing to work on cases before the European Commission and European courts in Brussels and Luxembourg. So what that means is that the team here in London with me continue to work on both sides of those cases. And then together with our US practice, we can offer a really holistic European, UK, EU, and US practice across the piece.
That's great. So you joined us in 2022, and you were the first antitrust and competition lawyer outside of the US at our firm, right? What was the opportunity and the challenge that excited you to join us and help open that geography and that practice?
During my lateral process, I spoke to many, many partners, and they really demonstrated to me what a terrific platform this would be to start and build an antitrust practice here in Europe. The nature of the work that the firm does, particularly with an interest in innovation markets, those are the clients that are finding themselves right at the epicenter of where the most significant antitrust enforcement is taking place right now globally. And so to be working with those clients, with those partners who have those relationships, it became clear to me very quickly that this was a terrific opportunity and one I really couldn't pass by. So it was a very easy decision in the end to want to come over and launch this practice.
I love that. So you have this great platform today to talk to all of our Goodwin colleagues.
Yes.
What are some things you'd like them to understand about our antitrust and competition platform?
People often think about antitrust being about merger control, about getting deals approved. And that is clearly a lot about what we do. But there's so much more. We help clients with their litigation matters. We help them with their behavioral investigations. Over here in Europe, we've got a practice now that does similar to what the CFIUS group in the US does, where here we work on foreign investment reviews and get those approved also here in Europe. So it's a very broad practice, and I think that's important for people in the firm to understand that we do more than just merger control, and we're here to help them with all of those aspects.
What is your why? What is the thing that motivates you to be so great at what you do?
It's a bit of a nerdy answer, but I just love the area at its heart. Antitrust requires us to really understand how markets work, how companies compete. And that's an evolving thing. Markets evolve, companies evolve, they need to shift how they work, how they operate, how they compete. And as a result, the law has to do the same. And so there's a very nice intersection between law and economics in antitrust, and politics, obviously that comes into play as well. And so it's a perfect blend of all of those issues that come to bear on a daily basis for us as lawyers.
Maybe we'll get a little less nerdy. I understand you're an avid skier.
I am, yes.
And you had, I think growing up, you lived in Switzerland while you were studying a bit.
Yes.
Skied a lot, I understand. Maybe a little bit of school, a lot of ski. Can you tell us a little bit about skiing over on the continent in Europe and that experience?
I had the good fortune to extend my law degree by a year and go and study abroad, and somehow managed to engineer an outcome of studying while also doing a lot of French and skiing while I was over there in Switzerland. So yes, I managed to get myself onto a course in Fribourg in Switzerland, where I studied Swiss law. Not that that's helped me a great deal in my career, but it gave me a great insight into living on the continent, mixing with students from all over the world, which was in itself a terrific terrific experience. But as a result, yes, I have to say my ski skills did improve somewhat.
Sarah, it was such a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
And thank you for joining us at Goodwin Conversations.